improv is all about yes and putting things together and building on top of each other and turning on the microphone. And stand-up comedy is all about just shitting on everything. So it'll be a little bit of a tone change. We got 4 guys tonight with us. We're going to have Heath Richardson. We're going to have Tanner Riley. He's Irish. We're also going to have, look, Gerard, what is your last name again? Smith. I was going to go with White, and I thought, God, that'd be inappropriate. Anyway, they're all going to do some stuff. They're going to do some old stuff, some new stuff. Here's your cue. When you see something that's funny, please laugh at it. All right? Maybe clap. It'll be a good time. We're so glad that you found parking. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for one of Charleston's best up-and-coming new comedians. No one's seen him before in Savannah, Mr. Heath Richardson.
Coffee, this is without a doubt the nicest AA meeting I have ever been to. This is a blast. Question, I always start this way, it's just a good way to read the room. Have you ever been insulted so well that you weren't even mad about it? Has that ever happened? True story, I was on my way to work, I was running late, riding my bike, and I round a corner, I almost just right into this guy, and before I can even say I'm sorry, he looks at me and goes, "Whoa, slow down, Italian Harry Potter!" And so I said, I'm gonna write that down. Hold on a second. It's pretty solid. I have this thing. So with hip hop, you have the MC and you have the hype man. The MC holds the mic. He does the words. He's the lyricist. The hype man just aggressively agrees with everything he says. They're buds. He's got his back. But I wish I had that as a comedian. Specifically, I wish my hype man was the announcer from the video game NBA Jams. If you're not familiar, it's an older game. It's not even important that it's a basketball game, but the announcer is so enthusiastic. I feel like it changes things up. The game is simple. You make a three-pointer, he just bellows out, "From downtown!" I'm like, oh, hey, that's cool. That's cool. You make 2 baskets in a row, he's heating up. Which leads to the suspense of when you make 3 baskets in a row, he's on fire! And that is just the best. As a kid, when all of a sudden the basketball lights on fire and you can jump 30 feet in the air and come spiraling down and explode the backboard. I want that. I want that in comedy. Because if you have that enthusiasm, an average bit becomes a great bit. Prime example. I've got all these great business ideas. I'm on Kickstarter if you want to invest. I'm going to start a sushi bowl food truck called the Hokey Poke. The slogan is, that's what it's all about. From downtown. I'm going to start a hostel up for people who like yoga called Namaste. The check-in and check-out times are like super flexible. He's heating up. I'm going to start my own brand of sparkling water. I'm going to get in on that LaCroix money. Except I'm going to call mine Earth. It's not a pun. I just that way the next time someone talks to me about the Earth being flat, I don't immediately feel the need to burst their bubble. He's on fire! See what I'm saying? It's just puns. But that was like worth laughing. You know what I'm talking about? I'm a weird fellow. You could probably tell by looking at me. I'm a strange guy. I'm weird about certain words, which a lot of people are. I know the popular one is the word moist. People don't like that. They don't want to touch that word, you know? That one I'm not so weird about. I don't like... You know when you say a word 3 times and it changes meaning on you? Lollygagging. 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 Did you feel that? Do you see how fast we just went from procrastination right past choking hazard to some weird British porno slang? Did you feel that? It's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same ever again. I don't like the word horseplay. I don't think I have to elaborate on that. I don't understand why you'd ever accuse a kid of it. That's all I'm saying. It's very strange to me. Strange times. I think the word asbestos is misleading. There it is. Okay. It's true. Hey, here's the thing, and this is weird. Did you guys know that pole dancing is about to be an Olympic sport? Not making that up. That's I mean, it's a solid setup, but it's a true fact as well. Most of the time, the room is split when you say that. Most of the time, the room goes, and also, yeah, which is kind of cool. I feel the same as well because, you know, it's the basis of a sport that's kind of in sexuality. You know, it's kind of sexualized, and I just don't think the Olympics are maybe the right venue for that. A couple of reasons. There was one not long ago where all the figure skating or the ice skating coaches were totally corrupt and were bought out. What are you going to do for the screening process for the pole dancing competition? I feel like that's just a loaded gun. Also, there's always that darling athlete that catches America and their face is just plastered everywhere. And they're usually 14 or 15 years old. You can't put that on a Wheaties box. I think what you need to do is have a professional league. I think we need to get the things right that all these other professional sports are getting wrong. Like, okay, the NBA does some good things. Straight out of high school, you gotta graduate. You gotta get your diploma, you gotta get your GED. And then, yeah, God gave you, get out there and make the big bucks. Join the big leagues, right? There's gonna be way less concussions than in the NFL. You know, I'm not saying no concussions. It's gonna be professional sport. Come on. Just like way less, you know? You could model things after NASCAR and take out ad space, you know? Like GoDaddy.com right there on the arm, right? Dude, it's revenue. Let me say this, okay. How exciting would it be to have a playoff, right? Now you have Tampa Bay versus Las Vegas. Better yet, who doesn't want to see Atlanta versus Atlantic City in the Super Bowl? You know what I'm saying? And you could have the MVP trophy go to someone called the Asbestos Cup. There you go. That's way more appropriate, I think. Yeah, anyway. Can we just celebrate for one moment? It's been 1 year. It's been 1 year since anyone has said YOLO. Right? I'm going to clap. Yeah, that's worth it. That's worth it. Remember when people used to say living the dream? That always scared me to death. I have weird dreams. I have weird dreams. If I'm living the dream, I am tripping way too hard. That's not. So now people say I'm living my best life, which is not accurate. Not at all. I'm living my best life. No, you're justifying eating the 5th cheeseburger slider off of your 5th Bloody Mary by noon, which I don't have a problem with. I'm just saying your best life probably incorporates some better decision making. I think the only person that could come close to living their best life, top of my head, let's say Tom Brady. Think about it. Supermodel wife, you know, makes millions of dollars. He has a family. He's generally considered to be like the best quarterback. Not me, but you know, a lot of people say that. That guy's close. But even then, devil's advocate in my head, he's not necessarily living his best life until he just wins the Super Bowl and he takes his family to Harry Potter World and they're all together and he has a deflated football full of winning lottery tickets. That's the best life for Tom Brady. You know? I think my best life would be a professional comedian, number one. And I'd probably just spend my time making artisanal jellies and preserves that are infused with marijuana. And I'd call it Dope Jams. Boom shakalaka! Hey, my name's Heath. That was a lot of fun, you guys. Thanks for having me on. Cheers, let's get Bill back in. Sarah!
Come on, you drove 2 hours to do that. 2 hours of the drive on the wall.
All right, next up is a real fun guy. He's shaped like a block of cheese. Buddy's from Ohio. Put your hands together for Notre Dame fan, Tanner Riley.
Thank you, I needed that.
When do you get tired?
Can't say I was expecting to be characterized as a block of cheese and a Notre Dame fan. You guys are like, nah, he looks like Bobby Hill from King of the Hill. Right? You know how hard it is going through life as a 26-year-old man who looks like a cartoon 10-year-old boy? That's not living your best life. Right? That's not living your best life. So I live in one of those apartments where sometimes you can hear your neighbor on the other side of the wall when he's too loud. You know what I'm talking about? This isn't going where you think. The other day he goes, "Ah, damn it, it's Sunday." And I'm on the other side like, that guy wants some Chick-fil-A. Just know, right? Yeah, big Chick-fil-A guy, I guess. You guys remember Shaggy, like the reggae singer?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's not dead, but you remember, right? Yeah. I heard an interview with Shaggy recently. Did you know that when he talks, like he just has a normal voice?
Yeah.
Did you know that? It's normal. My question is, what were people's reactions like when they heard him sing for the first time after just hearing him talk like a normal guy? Like he had to have been in the booth, like, or whatever, however they do it. Like, thank you, man, this song's gonna be awesome. I can't wait for it to come out. And the producer, whoever's helping him, is like, whatever, dude, just come in right here. And Shaggy's like, okay, here I go.
Life is one big party when you're still young, but who's gonna have your back when it's all done? It's all good when you're
Whatever the word, I don't know what he says. And the producer's probably like, yeah, real quick, are you possessed? Or Shaggy's like, no, why? What did you say your name was? Oh, my name's Shaggy! I don't know. You guys have been clapping for us, and that's great, but one thing I've learned is that it's only okay to clap for somebody if you're in a crowd. Like, if you clap for your plumber, and like it's probably not going to come back, all right? I had to learn that the hard way, okay? Here I was, minding my own damn business in my roommate's closet while he was banging his girlfriend. I come out to give him a round of applause, and they get all pissed off. Like, what about you? Like, learn to take a compliment, you know? Am I right? Like, jeez. I did some traveling recently, and when I was traveling, I saw one of those signs that say "Watch for falling rocks." Have you seen a sign that says that? That's my favorite thing in the world because I love how that's their fix for that problem. It's like, are you kidding me? Like somebody's like, yeah, giant rocks the size of one-bedroom apartments are kind of, turning people into bloody pancakes, and feel like we should, take action. And like what the guy came up with was just absolutely brilliant. He was like, nothing a sign can't fix, and then that's what they did. Like they're just like it's like stuck in the ground, bang bang. Problem solved. Like that's not say that hasn't saved one life. Like imagine like a sweet old lady driving down the street, like I'm gonna make a cake for my grandson or whatever old ladies do, and she like sees a sign, watch for falling rocks. Oh, there's one in mid-air. Let me just pull an e-brake spin move in my Camry. Good thing that sign was there, and good thing I am Vin Diesel. Perfect. Way to fix that problem. That's never happened once. You guys ever have that moment where like you almost sneeze, but at the last second you don't? Like your face does a karate move, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just kidding. I had that at the worst possible time. Okay, I was in a job interview, and the guy came out and he's like, "Tanner, how you doing? The name's Bill," and I said, and that's it. Didn't get the job, I can't figure why. I think it's because I thought I was a total psychopath. But I've been on Facebook lately. You ever seen those videos they got on Facebook where it's like a group of guys will make a video to try to make a woman look like a gold digger? To like, I don't like as if it's like a public service. It's don't watch it if you see it, okay? Because I'm going to explain what they do, okay? So it's a group of guys. And they just pick some woman out in public, like that doesn't have to be a part of this, minding her own business. And they got some guy that's like hiding in the bushes, filming this girl. What? Like a pervert? Yes, like a pervert, but I guess we're just supposed to ignore that. So they're filming this girl, and they got this guy who walks up to her, and this guy looks rough, okay? Because they need him to. He looks like a walking dead zombie banged an orangutan. And then the orangutan didn't get pregnant because that's not a thing. but it took a dump and it turned into that guy. So he's like, "Hey, will you go out with me?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's very nice, but no thank you," and then he waddles off. 2 seconds later, a guy pulls up in a Ferrari, gets out, good looking dude, he asks her out. And she's like, "Oh, okay, that sounds like a lot of fun." And then that guy thinks that then gives him license to talk to her like she's a worthless piece of crap, gold-digging asshole. As if what she was supposed to do was, "Oh, sorry, a nice car, I'd love to go out with you, but here's the thing. Some guy that looks like a mole rat just came up and asked me out a couple minutes ago. And there might be somebody in that bush over there filming all of this. Huh? Oh yeah, I know the chances are 1 in a billion of that happening. But I'm sorry, David Beckham, I can't go out with you." That's the video. That's what they expect. It's just like cops going undercover as prostitutes, you know? Where the hell could I be going with this? You might be asking yourself. I saw the video of it. There's this girl that she's undercover. She's a cop. She's a prostitute. And she flags a dude down from 2 blocks away, and after 10 minutes, finally gets him to agree to do what she wants. And when he finally does, she's like, "Ha! You're under arrest for soliciting a prostitute." And he's like, "Well, I wasn't until you fucking talked me into it." I was just walking down the street, minding my own business. My favorite part about that is that they always pick the most attractive female on the force to be the prostitute, which tells you that they probably had a meeting and somebody's like, "Hey, why don't we let Midge be the prostitute?" And they were like, "We can't let Midge's fugly ass do it. Because then all these people continue obeying the law. We can't have that shit. We got to get these law-abiding citizens off the street." That's pretty much how that went. Just tricking people who aren't doing anything wrong into doing something wrong, so that you can be like, "See, you got to," no, that's not life. I'm trying to think more logically all the time. I don't know. I'm an idiot. A couple of days ago, I was asleep and I heard a noise in the middle of the night and it woke me up. And you ever have that moment where you're laying in bed and you just hear something and you feel like there's somebody in your room, but you don't want to look because for some reason you're thinking that he's there and he's waiting on you to acknowledge him and then attack? What is that? What is that? I don't know. But that was me, and I looked, and obviously there was nothing there. And then I got to thinking, there is no reason why anybody would choose to be in my bedroom at 3 in the morning, all right? No, I don't have a crazy ex, I don't have any money, and I don't have a vagina, okay? You really need one of those 3 things for somebody to want to be in your room at 3 in the morning, okay? I'm not one of them. You've never turned on the news and saw broke single dude killed in his sleep because the murderer said he just needed something to do. Never happened, never will. My roommate though, on the other side, he's a PA. He's a physician's assistant. If there's anybody in our apartment, absolutely in his room killing him, not me, okay? For sure they're getting him. And so that's how I sleep peacefully at night now. I just cuddle up and picture my friend getting killed and not me. Some people think of sheep, I just think of camera wrestling with a dude in a ski mask who brought a wiffle ball bat as his weapon of choice for some reason. The corner of my bed's literally held up by a stack of books. Yeah. Literally a stack of books. You know where I got this stack of books? My roommate he used those books to become the PA. And if you're wondering, hey Tanner, did you break your bed the fun way people break beds? Nope! I sat my fat ass on the corner of the bed and the leg underneath me was like, yeah, absolutely not. And it completely gave. All right, my name's Tanner.
Good for Tanner. He had to ride all the way up here with me from Charleston. And of course, son of a bitch. Next up, we got one of our local hottest comedians. He hosts every Wednesday night at Totally Awesome Bar, Comedy Underground. Put your hands together for Jerron Smith.
All right, first of all, screw you all. Yes, this microphone is taller than me, all right? I recognize that. I acknowledge it, okay? All right. All right, so how y'all doing good tonight? Y'all having a great time? All right, yeah, you should be because, first of all, none of you are at your jobs right now, and that's awesome. I hated just about every job I've ever worked. Have y'all ever like tried to imagine what your dream job would be? Like you ever just tried to combine two completely different, like completely unrelated jobs and be like, you know what, that would be my dream job if I combine this thing with this thing. You ever done that? Because like I figured out what my dream job would be the other day. It's called porn star magician. Okay? Like, let me set the scene for you. Okay, I walk into a room. There's a girl. She's laying on the bed. She's waiting for me. She's like, hey, you about to give me all that dick? And I'm just like, oh, are you sure you're ready for all this dick? And she's like, yes, I am ready for all this dick. I'm like, are you absolutely sure you're ready for all this dick? She's like, yes, I am. And then the next 20 minutes of the porno is just me pulling out this endless dick, right? Like, I never get to the tip. It's just non-stop endless dick. Like, we never have sex, right? That's all the porno is. Like, it gets to the point where it just starts wrapping around me like a giant boa constrictor. It's just rattling around itself. It's covering me all the way from like head to toe. The director, he just starts to panic. He's like, oh my God, can he even breathe under that giant dick constrictor? We gotta save him. The entire cast and crew comes running over. They unravel this entire dick. They finally get to the bottom. I'm no longer there, okay? I'm not even there anymore. I'm gone. I've disappeared. They're just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. That is the greatest porn star magician we have ever seen in our entire life. Steve, tell me you got this on video. They look over at the camera guy. Steve's not there, it's me. I'm behind the camera. I've been filming this entire thing the whole time. Dream job. Speaking of porn, I realized that I treat my computer way better than I treat my body. Because I've had unprotected sex a couple of times in my life, but I won't even think about watching internet porn without antivirus software installed on my computer. Like, I could be sitting in front of my laptop, just monitor full of lust, and my laptop's just like, hey Gerard, I know we don't have any antivirus software, but you can watch all the internet porn right now. And I look at my computer, I'm like, no, it wouldn't be right till Sheba. I practice safe internet browsing. And then I turn around to the Asian prostitute sitting on the bed behind me. And she's like, Gerard, are you ready to have a bunch of dirty, unprotected sex? And I'm like, of course I am, Toshiba. My favorite part about that joke is just the right amount of racist, you know? Like, it's just enough for me to get away with. You know, I'll just keep this whole porn thing rolling. You know? Y'all know what cuckolding is? Good. I like that you're the honest one in the group right now. Look, I ask that joke a lot at comedy shows, and I notice a lot of guys don't say anything, and I realize the guys that don't say anything are always the ones who are there with their girlfriends or whatever. Like they want to pretend like they don't know what cuckolding is, but like oh, I would never search for that on Pornhub. Like, no, you know. Okay, look, if you don't know what cuckolding is, go to the interracial section of any porn website, and that is 90% of it, okay? Basically what cuckolding is it's whenever like some white guy gets a black guy to have sex with his wife or girlfriend in front of him, okay? That's basically what cuckolding is. And I used to think, you know, how could people even put up with that until I experienced something very similar, all right? I got cuckolded at the ATM the other day. Let me explain. I went to the ATM. I had just gotten off a shift at work, and it's been slow at work, so I made very little money that day. But I knew I wanted to put $20 in my bank account to keep me from going into the negative. So I'm feeling good about myself. I'm like, I'm being financially responsible right now, right? So I go up to the ATM, and as soon as I walk up to it, there's a receipt already hanging out of it, and it says that the last guy to make a deposited $200 into his account, and now his account balance is way over $3,000. And here I am, about to put $20 in to keep me from going into the negative. And I just remember looking down at the $20 bill in my hand with such shame and thinking to myself, man, this is what guys with little dicks feel like. This is what the guys with small penises feel like. There's no way that this ATM is going to be satisfied by my little small, floppy, flaccid $20 deposit when it just got filled up by this big, whopping, throbbing $200 deposit from Big Dick Moneybags, who was here earlier. Like, I don't even want to show this ATM my $20 because I feel like this ATM is just going to laugh in my face, and then I'm going to have to make an excuse and be like, well, they say it's not how much money you have, but how you spend it. And then the ATM would be like, oh yeah, that sounds like something that broke niggas say. Like, oh, this is... I can't even make a deposit in that ATM anymore. That completely changed our relationship, you know? Like, it's like, things aren't even the same between us. Like, I don't make deposits anymore. Instead, I just stand by the ATM and wait till I see somebody that looks like they have money to make a deposit so I can sit back and watch, you know? Like, I'd be like, oh man, this old lady, look, she's packing some money. And she goes to make her deposit, and while she's making her deposit, I just slowly start stroking the ATM. Just like, oh yeah, you like that, don't you? And I stroke the ATM with one hand. With the other hand, I just reach into my pocket and start pulling out like a $1 bill. And just start caressing it in between my fingers. And she's like, can I help you? And I'm like, oh, I don't actually want to make a deposit. I just want to watch you make a deposit while I play with my money. You know? White people, can you teach me how to dance off beat? And I want to learn. Like, I know, because like people always ask, what do black people have to do to finally rise up and overcome? And I was like, I figured it out. It's dancing off beat. That's one thing we got to do. That's like oh man, I feel like white people are onto something, you know? Because like, look, have you ever looked to a face of a white woman when she's dancing? Pure bliss, all right? Just like she is living a level of freedom that I will never know. Like, you will never see me more jealous than when I'm watching a white woman dance and I'm like, why is she so free right now? She's not worried about oppression. She's not worried about bills. She's not worried about where the downbeat is. She's just dancing, all right? Like, I want to dance off beat, you know? Like, look, one, like me and every other black person in this room, and by that I mean that guy, one thing we have in common, and we've never said it to each other, but I bet you both of us have at some point, at some time in our lives, been at home by ourselves when nobody else is looking and be like, you know what? I'm gonna learn how to dance off beat. I'll admit, I did it. And I learned how to dance off beat. And with every misstep, I just found myself like changing inside, you know? I mean, I started getting filled with confidence. And I'm not talking regular confidence. I'm talking that white confidence, you know? I'm talking that confidence that makes you walk in front of a moving car and just be like, oh, it's okay, I have the right of way. You know? Real confidence. Huh? Like one time I was trying to cross the street with a white friend of mine, and like he just like there's a car coming, and he just kept walking, and I was just like, hey, aren't you gonna like look both ways before you cross the street? And he's like, no, it's okay, we have the right of way. And I'm like, no, nigga, you got the right of way. Like I got the right to get run the fuck over. Like it's like what is the right of way? That sounds like something that like only white people get, and y'all buy it at the white people store. Like I don't know, like. By the way, I don't know. Like I just assume there's a white people store. Like. Where white people go to buy white people stuff. And like you don't actually use money, you just use like white points that you get by doing white that you collect from doing white people shit. Like getting sunburnt, you know, like like I had a friend the other day, he was like he got sunburnt and his skin was peeling. I was like, oh shit, save them chips. Like you could use it. You could save them skin chips. You could trade those in for like an iPhone or something. Like I don't know. Or get out of jail free card. I don't know, letter of recommendation. I'm sorry, I got distracted by white people. How long have I been up here, by the way? I've lost track of time.
Not long enough.
Not long enough? Okay, don't worry. Oh, don't worry, I got plenty of material. I got plenty of stuff to make white people comfortable. Or uncomfortable, whatever. I was thinking about how there are multiple terms for, you know, like there have been over like the course of time, there have been multiple terms for what's been acceptable to call black people, you know, and it's kind of like changed from like I guess era to era. It will change like what's acceptable to call black people, and I just want y'all to know I'm a very big fan of white people never being comfortable with what to call black people. Like I want y'all to always be just a little bit uncomfortable. You know, like so like let's say one of you talk about like a black coworker, and you're just like, hey, y'all know John? You're like, John? Like, you know, John, you know, black guy, you know, like that little bit of hesitation, I'm a fan of that, okay? Like, I love that. I don't ever want y'all to be too comfortable, like, to the point where I hope that we just change it every few years. Like, black people will get together, have a meeting, and decide on a new term that's acceptable for black people, so y'all are never quite sure what to call us, you know? Like, I want to keep y'all on your toes, you know? Like, I hope we have a vote on it, and I already know where my vote's going. I look forward to the day that one day a white guy comes up to me and is like, hey Gerard, so as a black man, I'm like, whoa. We prefer to be called Decepticons. I say that mostly just because I want to be able to like fill out job applications, and they'll list like what's your ethnicity, you know, and it'll be like black, or you know, it'll be like white, Hispanic, Asian, and then there's just a Decepticon symbol right there, and I get to check that little box next to it, like, oh yeah, that's my people right there, you know, like I want to be able to do that, like, but I already know that I'm going to take it too far. I already know the day's going to come 20 years from now, Transformers 15 is coming out in theaters, and I'm going to be outside the theater protesting, like, don't go to see Transformers. All Transformers ever does is depict negative stereotypes of Decepticons. Every Transformer movie I ever seen, the Decepticons were the bad guys. Why? Megatron ain't asked to come to this planet. Megatron just wants to take all his Cybertronian brothers and sisters back to the motherland where they can live as kings. Oh yeah, that's right. Don't listen to old Uncle Optimus, leader of the Housebots, talking about we gotta save the human race. No, fuck them. All right, we gotta look out for our own. That's right. Every ticket you bought to a Transformers movie, you buying a front row ticket to racism. You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. Decepticons didn't land on planet Earth. Planet Earth landed on us. Usually when I say that line, there's usually somebody like, see, like I'm just pointing to you right there. Like I'm just pointing at this guy because I feel like he knows where I'm coming from. That dude right, like that's right here. That's my transformer. All right, that's my. We got to stick together. It's like the Honorable Unicron Muhammad said. This joke is getting way too nerdy. I feel like. By the way, I could call him Transformer because I said Transformer with an A, not Transformer with an ER. It's like a term of endearment for our people. Since we're on this topic of words for black people, I just want to let y'all know I'm a big fan of us having a holiday during Black History Month, where we can celebrate black people earning exclusive rights to the N-word.
I'm with that.
Thank you. Thank you, my transformer. I want exclusive, like, because here's the thing, like, we won. Like, I don't know if y'all realize, like, we don't win very often, but we won. Like, it's a word that we can use and white people can't. Of course I'm going to say it. Like, why wouldn't I use it? Why wouldn't I say it? I feel like we won. Like, I don't know. I want a day. Like, okay, I'll say it. I want a nigga day. All right. I want a day off work. I want a nigga day parade. I want to get 5 of my blackest friends together and we'll go door to door to people's houses and sing them nigga day carols. Like nigga day. It's nigga day. Hands in the air for a nigga day. It's nigga day. It's nigga day. It's that word that you can't say. It's nigga day. Another reason I want to have that day is just because I love the idea of them trying to talk about it on the news. And be like, and today, African Americans all over the country are celebrating a day. That way, every time you listen to the news, it sounds like you're listening to the radio edit of a rap song. I just want to walk up to people and be like, hey man, what day is it? Like just like walk up to a random white guy like, hey man, what day is it? It's like say what day it is. Just like say what day it is. Fucking dare you say what day it is. I'm sorry, did I get like too aggressive? Like, that last joke is my favorite joke, by the way. Like that joke tickles the fuck out of me, okay? That joke tickles me to the point where I'm on the ground holding my side laughing. I'm like, please, joke, stop tickling me. But the joke keeps on tickling me. And I'm like, no, seriously, joke, stop tickling me or I'm gonna pee myself. But the joke keeps on tickling me and I get one of those inappropriate erections and I can't look that joke in the eyes anymore because things are gotten too awkward to me in that joke. And I walk out the door with my head held down low and then I stop taking that joke's phone calls and then 10 years go by and me and that joke have been talking to each other in a really long time and one day I'm walking through the grocery store, push my grocery cart ahead of me and I'm not paying attention to where I'm going because I'm trying not to beat my 2 kids because they're obviously bad as fuck. And I run into the person ahead of me and it's the same joke I haven't seen in 10 years. I'm like, hey joke, how's it going? And the joke's like, hey Gerard, I haven't seen you in a really long time. I'm like, hey, you used to be on Favorite Joke back in the day. And the joke's like, hey Gerard, I've been wanting you to tell me again because nobody could tell me the way you used to tell me. I'm like, hey, how have you been? And the joke's like, well, I started a family of little kids of my own. I'm like, hey, I bet those jokes sound just like you. And the joke's like, hey, I saw that you started a family also. I'm like, yeah, I did start a family. And the joke's like, hey, we should pick up where we left off. And I'm like, yeah, we should. And the joke's like, hey, but your wife can't know anything about it. I'm like, don't worry, she won't. I turn back to my kids, I'm like, hey, don't say anything to your mom about this or I swear I'll put a foot in each of your asses and walk around the house wearing you like a new pair of slippers. And I turn back to the joke, I'm like, joke, I always love you. And the joke's like, hey, I always love you too. And me and the joke hug each other in warm and passionate embrace and I get another inappropriate erection. But this time, instead of pushing me away, the joke just holds me closer, put a finger on both my lips and says, shh, it's okay, I accept you. I mean, that's how much that joke tickles me, but that's my time. Thank y'all. Y'all have a great night, all right?
Y'all give it up for Gerard. That was great. Tanner also killing it. Man, you guys having fun? Yeah? It is my pleasure to bring up the headliner, if you will. I hate going right before him because it's like a scene out of Indiana Jones. Give it up for Bill Davis, everybody.
I'm trying to figure out which scene from Indiana Jones. Is it the one where the big ball starts rolling down and you're going to get crushed by the bit? Hey, everybody. All right, it's a comedy show, so I'm required by law to ask, where's my drinkers at? Make some noise. We have to know where our drinkers are. It's code. How about, where's my pot smokers at? Purposely not going to look at the guy in the dreadlocks. I'm just not going to do that. All right, where's my crackheads at? Where make some noise? Who smokes crack here? Anyone? All right. And who voted for Trump? So in Savannah, crack is more popular than Trump. I appreciate that. I feel more. Hey, speaking of politics, who's your governor this week? Have y'all figured that out yet? Have y'all figured that out yet? Is it Stacey Abrams or the racist piece of shit? I can make that joke because I'm a former UGA SEC champion. Now, it was in cycling, which is, I think we can all agree, the most macho of the leg shaving sports. But there it is. It's good to be back in Savannah. I was just doing some, it's going to lock the door so you have to listen. I was just up north, and everyone's like, and I came down from Charleston. Everyone's like, oh, you're from South Carolina. You must be a racist. And I'm like, that's not why I'm a racist. Got a list of them. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, right? Today is not Veterans Day. So Veterans Day last year was it's Monday, you said?
Tomorrow it's observed on Monday.
It's tomorrow, but it's observed on Monday. Yeah, Veterans Day in the Davis household was tough last year because we buried Mom. Yeah. She fought like hell. But we had shovels. Tough broad. So I'm 6'1", 294 pounds, and I am also extremely cheap, and so I like to shop at Goodwill, and I found myself a triple XL wicking material shirt, which is great because usually Nike figures at 280 they've quit. Let's not even make the third X. So, but the problem with picking up a 3XL shirt at Goodwill is if you're my size and you find a shirt that fits, you keep it till you. So someone had to die for me to get this shirt, right? And it was one of those Wounded Warrior shirts, and because of my size, it looks like life size, someone carrying somebody else. So last year on Veterans Day Sunday, I took my family out. And you need to understand, my wife is half Korean. She's all Chicago, but she's half Korean, right? She's also half Czech. She's a Czech mix. Anyway, and so my wife and my kids look nothing like me. Insert thank God joke here. And we went to this place in West Asheville, a lovely little restaurant called Three Little Birds. And I've got a bad knee. And I know you're thinking, a 294-pound guy with a bad knee? It happens, trust me. So I go walking into, on Veterans Day, this brunch joint with a Wounded Warrior t-shirt, my mildly Asian family, and a limp. And 4 people stood up and saluted me. This one guy was like, I'd like to buy you a meal for all your sacrifices. And now, this put me in a moral quandary. Because if there's anything I love more than huevos rancheros, it's 2 huevos rancheros, because I'm going to take it. And I explained to him that brunch like freedom isn't free. It's weird burying your mom on Veterans Day because if it looks like you're burying a human on Halloween, no one calls the cops. But you do it on Veterans Day, the authorities get pulled in. I'm always saying the wrong thing. Anyone else have a problem with saying the wrong thing at the right moment? Anybody? Am I alone? You have a problem with this? Yeah. Did you screw up today?
Probably.
Yeah. When I sober up, I'll fix. No, I said something really stupid last week to my wife. I told her I didn't think Brad Pitt was all that handsome anymore. You know what she said back? Leave the mask on. I'm almost finished. That's sad. There are benefits to wearing a Brad Pitt mask while you're making love to your wife. She can't tell you're crying. I went for a job interview this last week, and I host trivia a couple nights a week in Charleston because, as it turns out, being a writer in a state where no one can read is a terrible business model. True story. And I went for an interview, and the lady said, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And I was like, 2023. And she still gave me the job. So, and she said, we'd like to celebrate by going to take you to lunch to Golden Corral. And nothing says you weren't the firm's first pick like a trip to Golden Corral. You know, the place where they used to just give you cotton candy when you came in. Now they just shoot you in the neck with diabetes as you drive by. Best thing about diabetes, half off shoe sales. All right. So we go in there, and the lady's like, the HR lady's like, "Hey, do you mind if I pray?" And I said, "Do you mind if I make fun of you while your eyes are closed?" I didn't say that. That would be rude. When she was done praying, right when she said amen, I leaned in and I said, "Welcome back to reality." So now I have unemployment. Give me a round of applause for that. I spent an afternoon and I get $350 a week for doing nothing. My daughter does not like that I'm a comedian and that I trend a little dark and a little edgy. She doesn't like that. She's like, "Why can't you make dad jokes like all the other fathers?" And I was like, "Hey, what's a dad joke?" And she says, "It's like a corny joke. Like when my friend Lily comes home, she's like, 'Hey, Dad, I'm hungry.' And her dad, the dentist, goes, hey, hungry, I'm Dad." And it's real cute. And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds terrible." But I love her, so I tried it. And I blew it. This last week, I had a perfect opportunity, and I said the wrong thing. She came up and she said, "Hey, Dad, I'm pregnant." And I was like, "Hey, pregnant, I'm Dad." She's like, "No, Dad, bad timing." I'm like, "Don't talk to me about timing. You're pregnant." What about cat? No offense, Tanner. And she was like, "Can I have an abortion?" I don't know. Can you? Think you mean, may I? You better move quick, because Kavanaugh's. Anyway, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has fallen and hurt herself. You got to turn the slippery slope. My son, as it turns out, it's the saying the wrong thing at the right time is genetic. My son is a college baseball player. And when we first knew he was going to play at the next level, he was about 12 years old, 13, and he was at this big tournament, and he named MVP, and they won the championship and everything. And my son had gotten a triple and 2 doubles in the final game, which coincidentally was what I'd had at lunch at Wendy's earlier. So that's now my good luck meal. And we're going along, driving back to Charleston, and there's this big billboard on the side, and it's got this 12-year-old kid in like a rec league baseball uniform. He's got a bat jauntily thrown over his shoulder, and he's missing his leg from the knee down. And it says, "I threw cancer a curveball." And my son goes, "He threw cancer a curveball, Dad. Looks like he should have thrown him the fastball." Looks like cancer was sitting Uncle Charlie. Ripped it back up the middle towards his leg. I was like, "Kyle Davis, never before in your 12 years on this planet have I been more in love with you or more proud of you than I am right now." How many Whole Foods do you guys have down here in Savannah now? We just got one. Yeah, we just got our second one in West Ashley, second one in Charleston. And I went to it, just opened up, and I went to the cheese counter because look at me. And I got like all these different little types and samplings and stuff. And I turned to one of the clerks and said, "Excuse me, where are the crackers?" And she said, "Sir, this is Whole Foods." I was like, I'm going to steal that. I am personally a liberal politically. I covered the legislature. I covered Athens city government for years, and then I covered the legislature in Virginia and then in South Carolina. And apparently, people can get saying the wrong thing just through contact with me. I was at a protest recently, and one of my ilk, one of my Subaru driving, same-sex marrying ladies was carrying a sign, and it said, each Tomahawk missile costs $1.7 million, enough to pay for 31 high school teachers for a year. Do the math. And I thought the do the math thing was a little arrogant. So I did the math, and what I figured out was no matter how fast you launch a high school teacher at a fortified position, it's not going to do anything, right? That's physics. I did the math. Statistics is math, so I figured of those 31 teachers, one of them has taught physics and know that they're dying in vain. You know, they're going to be stuffing him into the tube, and he's like, couldn't you at least sedate us? Like those kids in Thailand? No? All right. You ever poop so hard you clog the sink? You can't do that. It's a different. Are there any plumbers here to explain that joke? That kills at plumber conventions. Like I said, I'm a writer, but I host trivia, and I'm always trying out jokes on the college kids because that's who I pretty much work for is college rooms. And one time a joke just hit me. I'll tell you the joke, and I'll tell someone how they responded to it. I said, "You know what I hate about the sexual position 69? It's the way the guy's balls flop in my face." You know, I get one testicle in each eye socket, and I can't see. I'm wearing goggles. I can't see anything. Reminds me a lot of going to the beach as a kid with my dad. I don't want to talk about that. So I got a nice little polite laugh like y'all gave me. And this kid in the back room, this College of Charleston kid, you hear him break down and go, "Yeah, dude, that's why you got to remember to put the guy on the bottom." Thank you for your input, sir, but I don't think you understood the joke. And his girlfriend whispered in his ear, and he was like, in my defense, I am very high right now. And we all believed him completely. I mentioned the other day in 294, for the original joke was, I got on a scale, and for the first time in 12 years, the first number was a 2. I get a round of applause, and I go, there's still 4 numbers, you know, so it's an easy bit. They say the camera adds 10 pounds. I've eaten 8 or 9 cameras. I have a buddy of mine who's a diabetic who has a service dog that goes apeshit whenever I come near it. I don't know what that means. I guess the dog doesn't like me stealing its kibble. The other day, my wife, for my birthday, gave me $500 to go down to Dick's to buy one of, I was trying to lose weight, to buy one of those machines. You stand in place and run on it? Treadmill. Treadmill, thank you. I don't even know the word. Jesus, treadmill. And I went in there, and the guy at Dick's looked at me and said, "Look, if I were you, I'd use that $500 to buy a big bag of cocaine." And I was like, "Why?" He said, "Because you'll use the cocaine. You're not going to use the treadmill." So I bought a big bag of cocaine. And I put on 11 pounds because it just enabled me to order nachos faster. Nachos! I'm borrowing some silence from Gerard's successful set. Been thinking a lot about nachos lately, not just as a foodstuff, but as a metaphor for life. This is how you know you're a fat guy. And I'll say this, and some of you will think I'm crazy. You know, like when you're making nachos at home, and you reach into the Tostitos hint of lime, and you grab a handful out and you put it on the plate before you put it in the microwave, and you pull out the bag of cheese, and instead of shaking it on there, do you get the right amount? You stick your hand into the bag. You know what I'm talking about? And you grab, and immediately you feel, this is too much cheese. And you tell yourself, well, I'll put it on, and the excess stuff I'll just put back in the bag. And then you just stick it in your mouth. That's what being a fat guy is. The other thing about being a fat guy is when you pull too much out and a bunch falls on the floor and you have to sweep it back into the bag out of the carpet. And it's terrible. I mentioned earlier that my wife is half Korean. My kids look nothing like me. And when we go out, people make terrible assumptions about our family structure. we went recently to this lovely noodle shop in North Charleston. We sat down. The waitress looked at me. She looked at the three of them. She looked at me. She looked at the three of them and went, all together? And she'd already pissed me off because when she started the meal, she put out chopstick, 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 and a big-ass spoon. I'm not saying she's wrong. I just want to know, is it because I'm white or because I'm fat or because I'm impatient? I don't know. And so my son hears this all together and he goes, yeah, that's right. You're not a real dad, Kevin. You're just here because you're blowing up my mom. I'm out of here. And he just stormed the fuck out. Everyone in the restaurant's staring at me and I'm just holding my big ass spoon. And my wife goes, okay, you pay for this one, we'll pay for the next three. She didn't help me out, so my son's an asshole. My father, Gerard was talking about certain words that white people are not comfortable saying because he never met my racist as fuck dad. My dad was from a simpler, angrier time, you know? Back when being white was still an alibi. He died on Christmas Day in Kaohsiung, Taiwan this year. True story. And I had gone over, he was towards the end, and you're looking at me going, oh, people in your family don't live long. Really? Anyway, so I go over to say my goodbyes about a year ago. And my dad had Alzheimer's. My dad had lung cancer. So every morning you had to explain to him, because he'd forgotten, he had no short term, Dick, you're in Kaohsiung, Taiwan with your younger son, Richard. You have lung cancer and Alzheimer's, and we're going to be going to the doctors later. So every morning was like a really bad 51st dates. You had to, and I don't mean this in the pun, you had to reorient him that he was in Taiwan. One morning I said, well, I want to take him to go look at the pond with the ducks, because he didn't remember it from the day before. But no one had reoriented him. So I'm walking down with him in his wheelchair to the park, and all my dad sees is almond-shaped eyes. And he thinks he's still in Charleston. And so my dad goes, what's with all the Chinamen? I'm like, Dad. He goes, because he thinks he's in Charleston. Did a tour bus just let out? This is the same guy when he had found out through, the grapevine that Kim and I had gotten engaged quietly without their knowledge. He said, hey, Bill, are you still dating that Oriental girl? And I was like, Dad. People are Asians. Things are Oriental. And so my dad was like, well, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Say, is that Asian girlfriend still giving you that Oriental poontang? So, yeah, that's bad. Any cat people here tonight? Who's got anyone, you're a big cat person? Also dogs or just cats?
Dogs too.
Dogs too. Yeah, we had a Molly and a Gary. Gary's our cat. And Gary's 14 years old. And if anyone's ever had a cat or a family pet that's in there, you know that at 14 years, every day is a blessing and a curse. Because this could be the day that you find them stiff in a corner. So, no, it ends funnier. So on Tuesday, I went out in the morning and Gary was in a chair next to the bed. And I couldn't tell if he was breathing, so I looked over there, and his little chest was going up and down. I was like, okay, good. It's on my wife and kids. So I go out the door. So I'm clear. I come back at lunch, because I'm cheap, and they don't understand crying in the mirror during lunch. And I didn't want to go to Golden Corral again. And I walked into my upstairs bedroom, and the light wasn't good, so I couldn't really see well. But Gary was in the same spot, in the same position, in the same chair. Hadn't moved. I'm like, that's not a good sign. So I get a little bit closer, and all I hear him going, and I'm like, he's still alive. It's on them. I come back at 6, 7 o'clock for dinner, and I walk in, lights really bad, the TV's on, I can't tell. Gary's in the same position, same spot, same chair, and I'm getting closer. I don't want to touch him. I'm going to have to touch him. I don't want to touch him. And I just reach out, and yes, my 14-year-old cat still hates it when I poke him in the butt. That joke is supposed to build tension that is then suddenly released. My 17-year-old daughter, Maggie, is a complete disappointment. No, you've met Maggie. No, she, this last summer, she put on a bunch of weight, and then instead of, by the way, any parents here? Any parents go, okay, parents, right? So you know that the best way to get gum out of a kid's hair? Cancer. Good. So, no? Best thing about killing your wife, makeup sex? No? All right. She can't tell you apart. But Maggie put on some weight, and instead of like dieting and starting to exercise, decided, I'll just become a lesbian. It's like, Maggie, that's kind of oddly sexist. You know. And she said, look at the NBA girls. You know, they run up and down the field, and they're still, up and down the court. They play tough man to man, but they're still kind of thick-legged and chunky. And I said, well, maybe there's more calories in vagina than you expect. All right, that's my time. Give me a round of applause. I'm going to release you guys there. I want to encourage you to go and support, go to the Wormhole, go to absolutely fantastic bar, awesome bar, and see Young Girl Cafe, and come back here every Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Thanks. Thanks so much for your time.